what if a country were to break apart so completely that the world assumed it would never return? For Somalia, that moment lasted more than 30 years. War shattered cities. Institutions vanished. Families scattered across oceans. But here is the part almost no one talks about. Somalia did not disappear. It rebuilt itself, slowly, quietly, brick by brick, market by market, generation after generation. Today, Somalia is writing one of the most unexpected comeback stories on the African continent. The collapse. Somalia once stood at a major crossroads on the Indian Ocean. For centuries, traders came from Arabia, Persia, and the Swahili coast. Ports grew. Cities expanded. Poetry and commerce shaped society. Mogadishu's streets echoed with the hum of merchants and sailors. Ships unloaded spices, incense, and cloth from distant lands. Markets thrived. Cafes brimmed with debates about poetry, politics, and trade. Education flourished, and Somali scholars traveled across Africa and the Middle East. Then, in 1991, everything fell. The government collapsed. Public services disappeared. Schools and hospitals shut down. Many cities turned into ruins. Streets once alive with laughter and trade became empty. Homes were abandoned. Mosques and libraries were looted. People fled. Families scattered across continents. Those who remained had to survive amid chaos and danger. Few nations have ever lost so much so fast. Somalia reached a point many believed was impossible to recover from. But even in the silence of broken streets, whispers of resilience quietly lingered. Survival without a state. During the hardest years, Somalis rebuilt life with their own hands. Markets reopened in broken streets. Fishermen kept sailing from old harbors, navigating waters that had once carried traders across centuries. Merchants created networks to move goods and money, using creativity and trust as their currency. Private telecom companies appeared amid the rubble. They built cell towers between ruined buildings. They offered cheap calls and mobile money long before many other countries even imagined it. The Hawala system, a centuries-old network of trusted couriers, grew stronger. Money moved across borders with handwritten codes, with no banks to oversee it, and no government to enforce it. Families could still send funds home from abroad. Shops, cafes, and informal schools became hubs of knowledge and community. Even in the absence of a formal state, culture thrived. Poetry continued to flourish in tea houses. Business deals were negotiated over cups of chai. Social ties held people together when institutions could not. Life in Somalia adapted, bending but never breaking. And in this quiet persistence, something remarkable took shape. A society was moving forward. Unplanned, unstructured, yet unstoppable. That's how Somalia learned to survive, not through law or order, but through resilience, innovation, and trust. Even without a government, the pulse of the nation kept beating. And somewhere in that pulse, the first sparks of a comeback were already flickering. Mogadishu, the resilient capital. Mogadishu began around 720 AD as a coastal trading hub. Ships docked along coral stone streets, carrying spices, ivory, and cloth from distant lands. Markets overflowed with colors and scents: cardamom, frankincense, silk, and dried fish. Poets recited verses in shaded courtyards, weaving stories of traders, warriors, and kings. Over centuries, the city grew into a mosaic of culture and commerce. But when war erupted in 1991, Mogadishu bore the brunt of the destruction. Streets that once hummed with life fell silent. Homes and offices were abandoned. Crane skeletons rose over rubble like ghosts of progress. Yet, even in ruin, the heart of Mogadishu never stopped beating. Today, the city holds over 2.7 million people. Bright cafes sit along Lido Beach. New buildings rise beside old ruins, side by side with minarets and mosques that survived the decades. Construction cranes swing over the skyline, stitching together fragments of the past with visions of the future. Few people know the coastline glows blue and gold at sunrise. Waves lap softly along the sands, reflecting the city's resilience in shimmering light. Children play near restored markets, and fishermen sail beyond the harbor. Entrepreneurs rebuild trade networks that once spanned continents. In short, Mogadishu is a city that refuses to fade. Amid the ruins and cranes, the pulse of life continues, hinting at a story that stretches far beyond the waves. Hargeisa, the cultural heart of Somaliland. Hargeisa stands at 1,334 meters above sea level. Cool winds sweep across its rolling hills, carrying scents of frankincense and freshly baked bread. Colorful murals cover walls along quiet streets, telling stories of history, heritage, and hope. The city hums with the rhythm of life that has survived centuries of change. Just beyond the city, the famous Las Geel cave paintings cling to granite outcrops. They are over 5,000 years old. Figures raise their arms in eternal celebration. Cattle, hunters, and ritual scenes remain vivid in reds, yellows, and whites. Each brush stroke whispers the story of a people deeply connected to the land. Hargeisa balances modern growth with this profound cultural memory. Markets bustle late into the night. Vendors sell spices, textiles, and handcrafted jewelry. Poets gather in tea houses, reciting verses that echo the city's long history of storytelling. Schools, cafes, and small tech hubs emerge alongside historic mosques and colonial-era buildings. The city has become a meeting place of past and present, a hub where tradition and ambition coexist. Children play near fountains that mirror the nearby mountains, while artisans continue crafts passed down for generations. And yet, beneath the vibrant streets and colorful walls, one can sense the quiet heartbeat of resilience. A community determined to preserve its roots while reaching for the future. Hargeisa is a cultural anchor for the Somali people, a city where history lingers in every corner, hinting at stories yet untold beyond its hills. Berbera, the ancient port. Berbera sits almost at sea level, only 3 meters above the ocean. Warm winds sweep across long, golden sandy beaches. Waves lap gently at the shore. Cargo ships line the deep-water harbor. Seagulls wheel overhead, circling the bustling docks. This port served traders in Egyptian and Greek times. It linked Africa to Arabia for thousands of years. Spices, incense, and livestock passed through its docks. Merchants haggled, sailors unloaded crates, and stories traveled faster than ships. Berbera's importance only grew with time. It became a gateway for culture, ideas, and commerce. Even during years of conflict, traders continued to arrive. The port adapted. Old warehouses became markets. Ships brought goods from distant lands. Today, new terminals expand at a rapid pace. Containers rise like towers along the waterfront. Cranes swing with precision. Berbera grows into one of the Horn's most important commercial gateways. Fishermen still sail alongside cargo ships. Markets hum with activity. Local merchants sell fish, spices, and handmade crafts. So, Berbera is a port shaped by ancient trade and modern ambition. It carries the weight of history in its sand and salt. And as the waves touch the shoreline, whispers of stories from distant lands continue to echo. A reminder that every trade route has its secrets, waiting just beyond the horizon. Las Geel, the rock art wonder. Las Geel stands on a granite outcrop at 950 meters above sea level. The caves sit beneath dry skies and bright, unyielding sunlight. Wind brushes over the rocks. Shadows shift across the uneven surfaces. Inside are paintings over 5,000 years old. Figures raise their arms in ritual or celebration. Cattle stand in red, white, and yellow. Hunters and herders appear, frozen in time. The colors are astonishingly bright. They look freshly painted even today. Discovered only in 2002, the site quickly became a national treasure. Archaeologists and visitors alike marvel at the detail. Every brushstroke tells a story of early Somali life. The paintings reveal cattle, ceremonies, and human connection to nature. They offer a rare window into the beliefs and artistry of ancient communities. The caves sit quietly, almost hidden. Few tourists visit each year, leaving the silence almost sacred. The surrounding hills echo with the wind and distant bird calls. That's how Las Geel is one of Africa's most vivid prehistoric art sites. It reminds us that culture can endure long after empires rise and fall, and in those bright pigments on stone, you can sense a story waiting to leap forward. A story that might just meet the footsteps of the people rebuilding Somalia today. Kismayo, the Southern Gateway. Kismayo lies where the Juba River meets the Indian Ocean. Green water flows into deep blue waves. Palm trees sway along the coast. The sun sparkles on the river, catching the eyes of fishermen and traders alike. It is Somalia's third-largest city, with over 1.2 million people. The port connects inland farms to the sea. Boats carry bananas, sugar, and rice, moving goods toward distant markets. Markets overflow with fresh fish, rice, fruit, and spices. Shoppers haggle with merchants, while the scent of fried fish drifts through the air. Kismayo's river-ocean link makes it vital for southern trade. Farmers rely on the port to send crops far from the fertile Juba Valley. Ships arrive from distant countries, bringing goods that local vendors sell at bustling stalls. Children run along the shoreline. Fishermen cast nets. Life moves with the rhythm of the water. The city has grown steadily, balancing trade, culture, and history. It is shaped by two waters, the river and the ocean, each carrying stories, commerce, and life. The ebb and flow of tides mirrors the resilience of its people. In conclusion, Kismayo is a city molded by water and trade, and as the tides shift, hints of journeys yet to be taken ripple across the waves, whispering of connections that stretch far beyond the southern coast. Bosaso, the city of winds. Bosaso stands on the Gulf of Aden. The ocean stretches wide, reflecting the sun in silver and gold. Winds sweep through the streets almost every afternoon. They carry the scent of salt, fish, and distant lands. Waves crash against sharp, rocky shores. The city is Puntland's main commercial center. Around 235,000 people live here. Shops, banks, and shipping offices line the coastline. Goods arrive from across the globe. Containers are loaded and unloaded, while merchants negotiate deals. Bosaso connects northern Somalia to international trade routes. It is a bridge between land and sea, past and future. Camels are still seen on nearby roads, blending with trucks and motorbikes. The port hums with activity day and night. Fishermen sail past cargo ships. Market stalls overflow with fruits, fish, and textiles. The city thrives on wind and water. Wind shapes the streets. Wind carries stories. It whispers of opportunities, of fortunes made and lost. Bosaso is a windy and powerful economic hub. Its gusts sweep over commerce, culture, and connection. And if you listen closely, the wind seems to carry hints of ambitions yet to be realized, whispering promises that stretch far beyond the Gulf of Aden. Puntland, the Star of the North. Puntland became an autonomous state in 1998. It covers 212,510 square kilometers. Its population reaches around 4.3 million. The region balances local governance with Somali identity. Customs and traditions remain strong. Leaders manage local affairs while keeping connections to the wider Somali nation. Bosaso serves as Puntland's main commercial port. Ships arrive from across the Gulf of Aden. Containers are loaded and unloaded. Merchants navigate deals with efficiency and trust. The terrain shifts from hot plains to rocky highlands. Wide, dusty landscapes stretch for miles. Camels and goats wander across the earth. Villagers tend to their animals. Fishermen sail near calm, long coastlines. Waves lap gently against sandy beaches. Trade, culture, and tradition move together here. Local markets hum with activity. Schools teach the next generation. Small towns blend with rugged landscapes. Puntland stands as a key pillar of stability in northern Somalia. It provides governance, commerce, and culture where chaos once reigned. Its people endure. Its ports thrive. Its lands sustain. In summary, Puntland is a land of resilience and balance, a place where winds, waves, and dust shape life. And in that rhythm, hints of growth and ambition move quietly, ready to ripple outward like waves across the Horn of Africa. Jubaland, the land of rivers. Jubaland lies in Somalia's fertile south. It was recognized as a federal state in 2013. The region holds around 3.3 million people. The land is lush and green. Fields stretch farther than the eye can see. The Juba River winds through the valley. Its water nourishes farms and villages. Banana fields ripple in the breeze. Rice paddies shimmer under the sun. Ferries drift slowly across calm, green waters. Kismayo serves as the region's main port. It links river harvests to the ocean. Traders load goods onto ships bound for distant markets. Local markets bustle with fresh produce, fish, and spices. Farmers sell crops. Fishermen bring in the catch. Life in Jubaland flows with the river. The water shapes the rhythm of work and play. Children run along river banks. Boats glide silently under the sun. Villages thrive along the fertile shores. The region blends natural beauty with economic vitality. Green fields, flowing rivers, and coastal trade all work together. It is a land shaped by water, soil, and the hands of its people. That's why Jubaland is a land of abundance and motion. The river carries life and opportunity. And somewhere in the calm and currents, hints of growth ripple quietly, as if the waters themselves are whispering secrets of Somalia's rising future. Somalia's national parks, nature's hidden gems. Somalia has 6 official national parks. They include Jilib, Hobyo, Dalo Forest, and Lag Badana. Each park is a world of its own, a sanctuary of life, surviving against all odds. Lag Badana National Park was created in 1989. It stretches along a long southern coastline, Bright sandy beaches host nesting sea turtles. Mangrove forests shelter quiet birds. The wind rustles through leaves. Waves crash gently on shores. Dalo forest rises in the Sanag Mountains. Mist drifts through deep valleys. Tall juniper trees cling to cliffs. Rare species hide among cold, rocky slopes. The forest feels timeless. Sunlight filters through leaves. Animals move quietly beneath the canopy. Other parks, like Jilib and Hobyo, hold deserts, savannas, and hills. They offer glimpses of wild Somalia that few ever see. Gazelles leap across plains. Birds swoop over rivers. The land pulses with life. Somalia's national parks reveal a green and peaceful side of the country. They are hidden treasures that survive far from cities and conflict. And in these quiet places, whispers of nature's resilience hint at the larger story. A country not just rebuilding cities, but nurturing life in every corner, seen and unseen. The return of the diaspora. Somalis from around the world returned home. Doctors flew from London. Engineers arrived from Minneapolis. Entrepreneurs came from Dubai and Nairobi. They carried skills, knowledge, and hope. Clinics reopened. Hospitals filled with life again. Tech startups launched in quiet streets. Internet cafes and co-working spaces appeared. Young workers learned new trades. Mobile money systems expanded. Ideas flowed as freely as the rivers. Diaspora members did more than work. They revived culture and community. Schools, libraries, and art centers opened. Film groups recorded local stories. Entrepreneurs trained the next generation. Markets buzzed with new energy. Cities transformed slowly but surely. Skyline cranes moved beside ancient ruins. Streets that once lay silent echoed with life. Communities rebuilt trust and connection. Trade networks stretched from ports to inland towns. In summary, the diaspora became one of Somalia's greatest strengths. Their return sparked growth in health, education, and technology. And quietly, they helped stitch together a nation once torn apart. Some of the brightest sparks of Somalia's future are already walking its streets, leaving trails that hint at stories still unfolding. A new generation. Millions of young Somalis were born after the darkest years. They grew up with mobile phones and internet access. Screens glow in classrooms and cafes. They scroll, type, and connect with the world. They study programming, business, and design. Some code apps in modest rooms. Others sketch blueprints for startups. Ideas move faster than ever before. Tech hubs appear in Mogadishu, Hargeisa, Garowe, and Baidoa. Film groups capture stories of resilience. Startups experiment with mobile payments, delivery services, and farming innovations. Even small projects spark big change. Youth energy drives streets, markets, and classrooms. Social media connects them to mentors abroad. Entrepreneurs learn from distant success. They share ideas, skills, and hope. This generation pushes the country forward with fresh goals. They think globally, act locally. They rebuild communities while shaping commerce, art, and technology. In short, Somalia's future rests on energy, youth, and ambition. The new generation carries lessons from the past. They hold the promise of cities that rise, of culture that thrives, of systems that endure. And somewhere in their hands, ideas flicker like sparks, ready to light the next chapter of a country once thought lost. Somalia's story is not simple. It is not easy, and it is definitely not finished. But after 30 years of war, the country rebuilt its own systems. It restored its cities. It revived its culture, and it continues to rise through strength, resilience, and unity. So here is the final question. If a nation can return from the darkest years of its history, what else is possible? Make sure to like and subscribe for more stories from around the world. Explore the links in the description for more videos, updates, and behind-the-scenes content.